Hello viewers and welcome to Frontline Road to Moscow. I'm your host Bubujuchu and welcome to a Let's Try / First Impressions video. So, after finishing up our campaign inside Close Combat Gateway to Khan, like I had said, we're checking out a few more wargaming titles in the meantime, and once again, we're checking out a few of the beginner / intermediate level games. We're not commanding millions and thousands upon thousands of troops inside a huge military simulation, but something a bit more casual and a bit more arcadian. I think Frontline Road to Moscow here does that nicely. Overall, this was a turn-based strategy game that was released on Steam not too long ago, but it was available for, I think, iOS for quite a while now. And in general, it's a Panzer General-esque game for all you retro strategy game fans, and for something a bit more modern, I guess it's comparable to something, say, for example, like what's the name of it? Advanced Wars, or if you've already been introduced to wargaming, it's very similar to the Panzer Core line of titles as well. So anyhow, it's a single-player only game, so I guess we'll boot up the campaign, and I think for this preview, we'll just first impressions video, we'll play through one of the missions the game offers, and inside the game here, it features right around 30 of these historical battles presented on the Eastern Front, of course, starting from the restart of 1941 to, I believe, 1945 as the game continues there. So I think we'll check out this scenario right here, the Brest fortress scenario, and I guess we'll just start that off. One thing about this game is that it is deceptively simple, and quite honestly, the Steam store page doesn't do a good job in giving you guys a rough idea of how the game is played, because it shows off, again, quite bluntly, a lot of these really plain scenario or screenshots. So starting off, I guess we'll play through the Brest fortress scenario here, and this is based on a historical last stand made by the Soviet defenders at the city of Brest. Really, they had a fortress there, and the garrison inside the fortress wasn't alerted to the attack, to the German invasion, obviously, and I believe they managed to hold out for somewhere around 4 weeks or so. And during that time, I mean, of course, they were surrounded by the Germans, and it was a real tough nut to crack in reality. And of course, all of these scenarios presented within the game will be based upon just effectively historical battles like that sense, and typically they'll have 3 missions or 3 objectives inside these battles. 2 of them here are optional, 1 of them are mandatory, and the game will also give you a bit of the background to the scenario as well there. So that leads us to the campaign with the battle screen here, and in general, I mean, these battles will be a mixture of a test between your planning skills and a bit of luck is also involved here as well. So our objectives, just to recap, is to capture the city where the fortress of Brest located here, and we're also tasked with the side objective of, I think, capturing this silo location as well. And in addition, we have some arbitrary objective with just resupplying our troops once. Just it's fairly early inside the game, so I guess they want us to demonstrate some of the gameplay mechanics there. Anyhow, we have quite a few different options for accomplishing our goals here, and well, one of the big things about the game that the game stresses is this idea of using as little resources as possible to accomplish your goals, and that is a big theme of wargaming in general there. So with that said, starting off, we have a few units here. We have, first and foremost, these units have, again, it's deceptively simple. These units have their own little stat pages about how much hit points they have, how much damage they do against enemy units, and in addition, some of these units, or typically a lot of the units under your control, will have 2 different abilities. So, for example, our paratroopers here have a sniping ability, which will increase their range at the cost of some damage, and they'll also eventually learn an anti-tank grenade ability as well. And we also have a Panzer II squadron here, which can entrench, adding to the defense, or later on use some sort of suppression ability as well. And we also have some generic infantrymen over here, featuring some incendiary bombs, which will, I think, trade some ammunition for some increased damage, in addition to a bit of a range debuff. And they also have an entrenching ability as well. And stemming off of that ammunition thing, your troops have their own ammunition and fuel counts as well here, located at the bottom of the screen. So what I think we'll do for this mission is we'll buy a few more troops to start things off, and with that said, I'm going to buy 3 more units of infantry, and I think I'll buy another squad of Panzer II tanks. And in addition to that, I mean, as time goes on, the bottom little menu here will have various different units and various different abilities that you can activate, but for now, this scenario gives you the interesting option of using airstrikes and paratroopers to speed up your mission here. So with that said, what I think I'll do for now is that I'll schedule 2 paratrooper drops and airstrikes, and then we can perhaps move on this secondary objective a bit faster. And this should be a bit of a go for broke type of thing, as it'll chew up the vast majority of our resource points, but nonetheless I think it's a good option here. So yeah, we'll start off the game by enacting those moves, and again it just plays out into the area of again just planning out your task at hand here. So we managed to do quite a lot of damage on this BA-64 armored car. These are all, of course, historical units present within World War II. This armored car used to be quite a prominent little scouting vehicle that the Soviets had. It was just a tiny 2-man vehicle. You'd had to stand up inside the back of the car, and you'd have a little machine gun on the top there. Anyhow, what we can do here is that I want to finish off this unit, so I'll see whether or not we can do some damage onto this armored car defending the silo here with our troops, but I can also scurry around it to just capture it, and I think I'll move my paratroopers here now that they fired off their shots into the forests here, and also the silo itself, garrisoning them, and the little hit points on the bottom of their cards turning green, indicating that they now have some sort of a defensive buff, making them more resilient to damage. And as you saw there, during combat, your shots have a chance of deflecting off enemy vehicles. You have a chance of scoring critical hits, in addition, of course, missing and all that good stuff there. So I think that settles the matter for the paratroopers on that front. In the meantime, what I think I'll do is that I'll get my infantry on this front to form a bit of an infantry line like such here, and we'll get the infantry, where I'll get our main attack here going. That infantry unit is taking its good time moving forwards, but that is, I think it tends to move through the railroad station, so it takes a bit longer. I know for cities, I think it does something similar where the animation slows down to represent them moving through some sort of a heavier more dense location there. And in addition, we also get this heavy mortar, so we might as well drop it on some of these conscript units that the Soviets have out in the front of their lines here. And these guys are, of course, heavy in numbers units, though light in combat strength units there. And anyhow, I think that'll be the end of the first turn, so we'll switch it to the USSR's side. They're going to fend off our troops using a mixture of their conscripts, their light infantry, and all of the things that they possess on the map here. So let's see what they do. They're going to make a few attacks at us, we're going to retaliate, and our troops are just brawling it out, trading hit points as you see here. Oddly enough, the game uses a mixture of this hit point system, whereas you can see there's this little yellow, or not yellow, but green meter next to the hit point number, and I believe that's some sort of a fractional representation, so you can do damage in fractions as well there. So moving forwards, we're going on to turn 2, and here's when the game really shines. We can now utilize a few of these different game mechanics to really speed up the change of play here. Namely, the game really encourages you to think and plan your turns out so that you can do things in the most efficient manner here. And the game has a few different mechanics to encourage you to do that. So, for example, if I'm able to finish off this BA-64 unit, typically your units have one attack. Your units have one attack movement per turn, so that you can move and you can fire off once per turn. But if you manage to finish off an enemy unit during your turn, you get a second attack, and it's called an initiative bonus, I guess. And with that said, what I can do is that I can chain off 2 attacks using one of our paratrooper units, like the such here. Though unfortunately, we miss in this case. Taking a look at some of the enemy units here at the actual Brest fortress, they seem to have a sniper unit, which is really great at hitting infantry from afar. They have an assault infantry unit, which is really comparable to our paratroopers here. Really great infantry v infantry unit there. And they also have an AT infantry unit as well. And these are great against tanks, though not very good against infantry here as well. On their forward lines here, from the looks of it, they had some of those conscripts, some light infantry, which are slightly better than yeah, than conscripts, and they're dangerous up close, evidently. And I think they have some regular infantry in the back here, a single AT gun, and another armored car. So yeah, the game works off of quite a lot of different infantry types as well there. And what I'm going to do here is that I want to chain off a few very strong attacks here, and I'll show you guys how this works. So starting off, I'm going to lay down some artillery onto this unit right here, and there's a few different mechanics here that I want to note during the combat. I can use this initiative bonus, but I can also surround, and I can also flank enemies. So for example, if I move 4 units very close together, it's considered a flanking attack, I guess. So with that said, I get an extra bonus. It'll weaken this enemy's unit to our attacks here by a bit, and I can finish them off like that quite nicely. So with that said, yeah, there's that element of planning to these battles here, where, say for example, I can chain off this attack, I can move this unit here, get rid of this unit, that'll free up my tanks here to do something else. And with my tanks, what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to move them up forwards slightly so that they can flank this unit of infantry here, and I can get my infantrymen inside the back here to finish these guys off, which will get rid of them like the such here, and I can move this one forward so it'll have range on that unit, on that, what is this, conscripts unit there. And then furthermore, I can move up a few more guys on the side here to further our advance. And I'm going to trade, I'm going to use that initiative bonus here to whittle them down a bit further, and finally I can get one of my troops over here to score the killing blow. And in general, you can really set up for some of these massive combos of attacks like over there, where you can really weaken people with your flanking maneuvers and all that. You can strike those decisive blows, and you can speed up your process by getting those multiple attacks by stacking up your troop attack orders like the such there. So, we're going to take some damage in return for mucking up those units over there. Paratroopers are, from the looks of it, just fending off the Brest fortress defenders. In the meantime, I'm going to get my units to move further up here, and I'm going to get them to take some positions near the river here. What I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to resupply one of my panzer units, seeing as how they seem to be running low on troops. They were at 6 hit points, so I'm going to bump them up back to 10, and that'll finish up another one of those objectives. Though, mind you, as you saw there, it did cost us right around 10, or rather, I think somewhere right around 100 of those resource points there. So, continuing off our advance, what I'll try to do now is that I'll try to make a bit of a push to our guys at the sides here as best as I can. So I'm going to get these paratroopers to actually peel off, and I'm going to get them to move towards the sides over here. So yeah, they'll do their thing. And in the meantime, I can lay down a few more attacks, and hopefully I'll be able to finish off this AT unit on this turn. There we go. So that shouldn't pose a threat to our infantry anymore, or our tanks there. What am I saying today? And then moving forwards, I can get a few more shots, again using that initiative bonus on some of these other troops like such, and that'll switch the turn ordering back to their side, and it'll just go forwards from there. We're going to exchange some blows here. And oh no, one of our paratroopers are gone, but that is alright, seeing as how we've cleared this bridgehead. And with that said, we can enact a few more of these flanking maneuvers. So, for example, I see there's quite an opportunity to flank this regular infantry unit, so I'm going to move our troops forwards like the such here. I'm going to get our paratroopers to start things off, followed by our single unit of infantry here. And this attack perhaps could have gone to the Panzer II for a bit more efficiency, but we'll go forwards with this. I'm going to drop some artillery at this point, try to finish off this light, where this regular infantry unit, these guys over here are entrenched, and that's sort of why they have this little sandbag wall icon, meaning that they obviously take less damage, so they're a tad tougher like that. And from the looks of it, we managed to fatigue one of the enemy's units over there, meaning that we managed to conduct so many attacks on them in one turn that they will no longer be able to retaliate in terms of dropping fire onto us. And here's another neat thing that you can do inside the game. I see that there's this one unit of BA-20 armored cars left here. Instead of directly taking on this unit, what I can do is that I can attempt to surround it, which will eliminate the unit naturally, as opposed to, say, us directly engaging it in a firefight, if you will, saving us a few moves, and that will allow me to drop a few more shots on the troops near the fortress instead, so save us a few movement points like that. And as you can see, the AI is also using its resources. It repaired that unit, as you saw there, in maneuver like that. So I'm going to surround that BA-20 car, and that, as you see, makes that unit surrender. So it's a nice play there. And moving forwards, put some more shots onto the defenders of the Brest fortress. Got our tanks far off, whittle down that assault infantry troop as best as we can. Get this tank to move forwards, do some more damage like such there. They don't really have too much that can stop the tanks, though that assault infantry unit will be slightly troublesome coming up against all of our infantry and all, so we'll let the tanks go forwards there, and that will be another tank or another turn going forwards. There we go. So back to our turn, we'll get our guys to fire off. And there we go. Some more damage. And we can finish off these guys like that. Swing in here. Getting real close to the snipers, which will allow us to do a ton more damage. And I think we'll just be able to, hopefully finish him off this turn. There we go. So that should complete the another one of the secondary objectives for finishing off all of the troops, and that will then allow us to take the actual objective marker that'll finish off the battle, which will allow us to, finish off the match, really, which will give us the totals for say, the amount of units we've destroyed, the amount of units we've lost, how many reinforcement points we spent, and all in all, it just sums up our score here, and the game just really goes forwards from there. So, that opens up a few more of these different missions. And as you can see, the game has this branching campaign where, going forwards from this point, we have a option between two other scenarios to proceed forwards, and in general, the game will just really go from here. So, very intriguing scenarios, although a bit smaller in scale and a bit more arcadey in design, but nonetheless, I think this is a really enjoyable title, though I'd say that it's, say, more geared for mobile devices, definitely, instead of the, say, the PC there. So I hope you guys had enjoyed this Let's Try / First Impressions, and well, I hope you guys like and subscribe, as later on we'll be checking out Battle Academy 2, another Eastern Front set World War II wargaming title. So hope to see you guys there. Bye bye for now.